Hello students, welcome you all. In this lecture, we are going to study the growth of charge in series LCR circuit. We have already studied the growth and decay in LR circuit and CR circuit. So in this lecture, we have to study the growth of charge in series LCR circuit. For that, consider a LCR circuit which consists of pure resistance R, pure inductance L and pure capacitance C. They are connected in series with a source of EMF, that is capital E. Now we are studying growth of charge, and that's why to study growth, initially the source of EMF should be open. So no current will flow through the circuit, so charge will be 0. So that is the initial condition. So initially let switch S is kept open, then current will be 0, and initial condition becomes when T is equal to 0, capital I current is equal to 0, and hence corresponding charge is also equal to 0. Now if the switch S is closed, means 1 and 2 are connected, then source of EMF capital E will be connected in a circuit and current capital I starts to flow through the circuit. Alright, and that's why according to Kirchhoff's voltage law, we can write the equation as, here you can see the voltage across the inductance plus voltage across the capacitance plus voltage across the resistance is equal to the voltage applied, that is capital E. And hence from Kirchhoff's law we can write voltage across inductance L into di by dt, voltage across resistance R into I, voltage across capacitance Q by C. Sum of three voltages is equal to the applied voltage, that is capital E. Now we know that current is rate of flow of charge, that is dq by dt, and therefore di by dt can be written as dq by dt square. Using this value in above equation, we get L into d2q by dt square plus R into dq by dt plus q by C is equal to capital E. Divide by capital L on both sides, then we get next equation. Now for capital R upon capital L, let we use twice B, and for 1 by LC we use omega square in above equation. Then above equation can be written as d2q by dt square plus twice b dq by dt plus omega square q is equal to capital E upon L. If we shift that capital E upon L on left hand side, so it will get minus, and then take omega square common from last two terms, then equation becomes d2q by dt square plus twice b dq by dt plus omega square, which is taken common. Remaining term is q minus capital E upon L omega square is equal to 0. Now for this bracketed term q minus E upon L omega square, let we use x, and it is denoted by equation number 2. So dq by dt, if we take its derivative, is equal to dx by dt, because E upon L omega square is constant. So dq by dt is equal to dx by dt, and therefore d2q by dt square is equal to di by dt. Here slight mistake is there, printing mistake. Instead of dx by dt, here d2q by dt square should be equal to di by dt. Now use these values of di by dt and dq by dt in above equation. So above equation becomes d2x by dt square plus twice b into dx by dt plus omega square x is equal to 0. Now if we solve this equation, then we get solution x is equal to e raised to the power minus bt in bracket capital A into e raised to the power alpha t plus capital B into e raised to the power minus alpha t. Now this equation or this type of solution we have already taken in solution of differential equation of damped harmonic oscillation also, but I have written its solution on in the next slide. That is, if the solution of this equation is considered as x is equal to capital D into e raised to the power lambda d, in which d is the constant, then dx by dt can be written as d lambda into a raised to the power lambda t and again take derivative. So d2x by dt square is d lambda square into e raised to the power lambda t. Now use these values in above equation. Then lambda square plus twice b lambda plus omega square is equal to 0, because d into e raised to the power lambda t will become common, and if we shift it on right hand side it will become 0. So we get this equation, lambda square plus twice b lambda plus omega square is equal to 0. This is a quadratic equation in lambda, and hence its roots are lambda 1 is equal to minus b plus under root b square minus omega square, and lambda 2 is equal to minus b minus under root b square minus omega square. The general solution of this equation A is x is equal to a into e raised to the power lambda 1 into t plus b into e raised to the power lambda 2 into t. Now use the value of lambda 1 and lambda 2, we get next equation, x is equal to a into e raised to the power minus b plus under root b square minus omega square into t plus b into e raised to the power minus b minus under root b square minus omega square into t. Now from these two terms, if we split the exponent, then e raised to the power minus bt will be common in both terms, so it is taken common. So inside bracket we get a into e raised to the power under root minus b square minus omega square into t plus capital B into e raised to the power under root b square minus omega square into t. Now for under root b square minus omega square, let we use alpha. Then equation become x is equal to e raised to the power minus bt in bracket capital A into e raised to the power alpha t plus capital B into e raised to the power minus alpha t, which we have taken as a solution in previous slide. So where a and b are the constants and the value of alpha, that is under root b square minus omega square. Now from equation 2 we can write the value of q, which is equal to capital E upon L omega square plus x. Now use value of omega square. Omega square is used for 1 upon L into C, and therefore if we solve this one, then capital E into C, we get capital E into C because L will get cancelled, and E into capital C is nothing but the maximum charge on a capacitor, because capital E is total voltage applied and C is the capacitance. So when total voltage is applied to the capacitor or it is developed across the capacitor, capacitor will be fully charged and the total charge will be Q0, and therefore capital E into C we can write Q0, and hence Q becomes equal to Q0 plus X. Now use value of X, that is the solution of that equation. So Q is equal to Q0 plus exponent of minus Bt in bracket A into exponent of alpha t plus capital B into exponent of minus alpha t. That is our equation number 3. Now we have to find out the values of capital A and capital B, and these can be obtained by using initial condition. Initial condition is when t is equal to 0, current is 0 and Q is also equal to 0. Now use this condition in equation 3. Then from this equation we get A plus B is equal to minus Q0, because Q is equal to 0, so left hand side will be 0. Q0 plus exponent of 0 will be 1 and A plus B. So A plus B is equal to minus Q0, that is our equation 4. Now differentiate equation 3, we get the value of dq by dt and then use the initial condition. So we get A minus B is equal to minus B by alpha into Q0. So its solution I have given on next slide, that is differentiating equation 3. Then we can get capital I, that is dq by dt, which is capital I is equal to minus B into e raised to the power minus bt, that is derivative of first term, into second term as it is, plus first term e raised to the power minus bt as it is, derivative of bracketed term, that is A alpha into e raised to the power alpha t minus B alpha into e raised to the power minus alpha t. Now from these two terms, e raised to the power minus bt can be taken common, so minus e raised to the power minus bt, and remaining term is written inside the bracket. Using initial condition, that is t is equal to 0, then I is equal to 0 and q is equal to 0, we get 0 is equal to B in bracket A plus B minus alpha into A minus B. So simplify, we can write alpha into A minus B is equal to B into A plus B. So A minus B is equal to B by alpha into A plus B, and from previous equation we have find out the condition, that is A plus B is Q minus Q0. So A minus B is equal to minus B by alpha into Q0. So that is our equation 5, which we have written in a previous slide. Then by using equation 4 and 5, we get the value of A and B. So if we add equation 4 and 5, we get the value of A, and if we subtract equation 5 from 4, we get value of B. So these are the values of A and B. Now use these values in above equation. So if we use these values of A and B in above equation, then we get Q is equal to Q0 minus Q0 by 2 into exponent of minus Bt in bracket 1 plus B by alpha e raised to the power alpha t plus in bracket 1 minus B by alpha into e raised to the power minus alpha into t. Now if this 1 by 2 which is outside the bracket, it is introduced inside the bracket and bracket is solved, then we get Q is equal to Q0 minus Q0 e raised to the power minus Bt exponent of alpha t plus exponent of minus alpha t by 2. B by alpha can be taken common from second and fourth term. So plus B by alpha in bracket e raised to the power alpha t minus e raised to the power minus alpha t by 2. That is our equation 6. And equation 6 is the general solution of the differential equation, in which alpha is used for under root b square minus omega square. If we use the value of b, b is r upon twice l. So b square is r square upon 4l square, and omega square is used for 1 by l into c. So from this value of alpha, there exist three cases. Case 1 is that if b square is greater than omega square, then square root of b square minus omega square will be real quantity, and the charge on the condenser will gradually increases to the final steady state value Q0, which is as shown in curve A. So this condition is called as a aperiodic or deadbeat. So it is shown in next diagram or next curve, that is curve A. So you can see with time the charge goes on increasing exponentially and finally it attains a steady value, but there will be no oscillatory motion. In second case, if b square is equal to omega square, then growth of the charge on a condenser is neither deadbeat and nor oscillatory, which is shown by the curve B. So charging will not be completed, it will not attain a steady state value. And third case, if b square is less than omega square, then under root of b square minus omega square, that value will be negative, and hence it is an imaginary quantity, and it shows the condition of a oscillatory motion. The increase of charge on the condenser is shown in curve C, and before taking the final steady state value, that is Q0, oscillations will be produced. So this motion will be oscillatory. So charging of the condenser will be oscillatory, and then finally it will attain a steady state value, that is Q0. So this is all about the growth of charge in series LCR circuit. Thank you very much.